There have been delays in the court challenge by tennis star Novak Djokovic against his Australian visa cancellation, which was due to begin at 10 a.m. this morning. Live to reporter Joel Philp now, who is out the front of the detention facility where the world number one has been staying. Joel, what's the latest?
Sophie, thankfully that court case is now underway after some technical issues this morning. The web link wasn't working, and indeed you can imagine for the world's journalists who were attempting to watch this from across the globe, it would have been very frustrating for them. But now the only information we have is coming from journalists who are in the courtroom at the moment. And the situation is at this stage that Djokovic's lawyers are arguing through the procedures and the technicalities of their argument that indeed it was not justified, that his visa was ripped up and he was unable to enter the country. Meanwhile, we've heard from submissions from the Home Affairs Department, which will be argued later today, that Djokovic was relying on outdated advice from Atagi, and that indeed the presumption that he could come into Australia being unvaccinated and having previously had COVID became irrelevant when the rules changed in December. I'm here at the front of this detention facility where a white car has entered the facility and left today. It's not clear who that was. Of course, there are a lot of people staying here, but indeed we'll see what today's court proceedings bring. A prominent Melbourne lawyer has said he thinks it's likely the world number one will win the case.
I think that his chances of winning his case are really good. I'm very confident that he will be successful in this application before the Federal Circuit Court. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he plays in the Australian Open. I think what's likely to happen is the matter will be remitted back to the Minister to consider whether or not the visa should be cancelled.
And Joel, Tennis Australia boss Craig Tiley, he has broken his silence in a series of interviews with the media. What did he have to say?
That's right. Tennis Australia is digging in its heels, saying that it attempted on multiple occasions to get advice from the federal government about whether specific players could enter the country, but that the Commonwealth was not willing to provide that advice. They've said they've seen a lot of confusion between what was expected from the Victorian government and the federal government on this issue. Federal politicians are still saying today that if Djokovic cannot fulfil the criteria, and one of them is that he was vaccinated in these circumstances, he should not be able to remain in the country. So it's going to be an interesting situation as it unfolds here today. His fans are actually out the front of the federal court, making as much noise as they possibly can. The Serbian community there hoping that this situation goes in their favour, and indeed, Sophie, the whole world will be watching this situation. Let's hope those web problems continue to be resolved throughout the day.
Joel, great to chat. Appreciate your update today.